What is up, guys? Ninja Nick back with another round of this League Cup. This is top 4 at the POW Card Games and Comics League Cup in Port Ewen, New York. We have Nate again on the left for the third time here versus Tori, who we saw in top 4 versus me in the previous League Cup that I recorded videos for. He beat me in top 8 again, so I can't seem to beat Tori. It's getting a little annoying here, especially since I've been playtesting so much more often recently. If you guys want to follow on Twitch, where I live stream myself playing PTCGL sometimes, that would be cool. But anyways, we do have this matchup of Chien-Pao versus Lost Box. Lost Box super favored. He can just easily pick Frigibaxes off the bench, and since they usually play the 60 HP ones, you can always knock out 2 Frigibax with 1 Lost Mine. So we'll have to see if Tori is able to pull that together. I would see no reason why not. So just an attach for the turn onto the Chien-Pao. We do get a Frigibax and an Arceus V as well into the bench. You do like to see that. In case the Cramorant Escape Rope play comes out, we'll likely see the promotion of the Arceus V. I wouldn't see any reason why it would be anything else. Also, the camera does move a little bit during this match, so it's a little top heavy sometimes, so it did end up falling over and I caught it right there. So it is a little bit off from where it was, but it is fixed, and it does get shifted a little bit more, I think, later in the match too, just because it is on the table and everything. The other top 4 match is a Lost Box mirror between Chris and Dom, who we saw both of earlier in the tournament. Dom round 1, and then I think Chris round 2. I think Chris just got a bad hand game 1 and just decided to give Dom the whole match, because they all drove together. Tori, Dom, Chris, a couple other guys. So we do see Tori is prize checking a bit. He wants to be able to make sure he knows which Pokemon and energies are in his prize cards for the most part, if he has access to all of his Colress's experiments. It's a very important deck to know exactly what you have access to. Yeah, he's got the little pen still on his. I lost mine. I lost the pen to mine at some regional that I went to. I don't remember which one. So I usually just use my fingernail to write on it. So shuffling up that deck pretty good here. We're going to hopefully find our way into a battle VIP pass. Maybe Tori has an energy. We could see the concealed cards here. See, it looks like no energy just yet. We are going to switch card into the Comfey, Flower Select, and hope to get maybe energy or Colress. Looks like we're going to Lost Zone an energy, so that's a Colress's Experiment. Oh, you love to see it. We're going to look at the top 5 cards, put 3 in the hand, 2 in the Lost Zone. There is a Battle VIP Pass in there, which you would normally Lost Zone, but this is turn 1. You can still use that, and you don't have that much of a bench built up yet. Usually, you only really need to play 1 Battle VIP Pass in this deck. So, we'll want to keep this one. And it looks like we're deciding what the other card we want to keep is. It looks like there's 2 Psychic Energies, so you definitely have to keep at least one of them. You can't just Lost Zone 2 Psychic Energies with this deck, because you only play 3. So we're going to use the other one to concealed cards and draw a couple more. Looks like we do get ourselves into yet another Colress's Experiment for next turn. But it's not going to do us too much good this turn since we've already played one. We're going to use our Battle VIP Pass. We're probably going to find maybe another 2 Comfey or a Comfey and a Manaphy, because the Radiant Greninja could always come down from Nate. And we'll see that Moonlight Shuriken can be important from both players. So we can always use on the left, we can use our Baxcalibur to load up a Greninja and take some knockouts, and on the right, we can use our Mirage Gates to load up Greninja and take some knockouts. So both players are going to need Manaphy in play during this game. I always like when there are Pokemon in the format like Manaphy so that you can, because it balances out the fact that there are Pokemon that can do quite a lot of bench damage. There was always that Mr. Mime in Darkrai format when Darkrai was Night Spearing everywhere. And it was small enough HP so you could always just Pokemon Catcher it up and knock it out. Back then, Pokemon Catcher was not a coin flip. They since errated it. And I don't like when card games errata a card to make it less good. Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that a lot. So they want their ban list to be smaller with a lot of those original cards that had been banned, you know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, being playable again. So what they do is they just print it again with a completely different effect to neuter it, and then take it off the ban list. And I hate stuff like that. So I hate that Pokemon did that to Pokemon Catcher. I think Pokemon Catcher was fine. You could have just let it rotate out and printed a new card that was like Pokemon Reversal was what Pokemon Catcher is now. You could have just reprinted Pokemon Reversal. There was a Heart Gold Soul Silver print. So if you wanted to play a card like that, you could play a nice Heart Gold Soul Silver one, because the Heart Gold Soul Silver ones are the only yellow border ones that I really do enjoy. I'm really liking these new silver border ones, but man, are the new reverse hollows bad. So using another flower selecting is going to get a Pokestop. We're going to use that to mill 3 really good cards. So we get rid of a Colress's Experiment here. So now one of our last 2 is in hand and the other one is probably in deck. Thinking about benching this Cramorant here, we might be able to see an attack with the Cramorant this turn if he has another way to switch or retreat, but it looks like maybe we don't, so we're choosing not to bench the Cramorant. I do think that that's perfectly fine to not put it in play, especially if you're not attacking with it this turn. So we're going to see the Pokestop here is going to mill 2 Battle VIP Pass into the hand. Not what you want to be seeing right now. It looks like there is an Iono in hand, so we could always put those back onto the bottom of the deck. And yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to shuffle our hand, put it on the bottom. So you usually want to save those Ionos for later in the game against the Lost Box when they have that huge hand, but sometimes playing it early is just something that is completely necessary. So both players are going to shuffle up and draw a new 6 cards. So what I would like to see here is the Rare Candy Baxcalibur, because otherwise that Frigibax is going to get knocked out. If you don't have that, you need to get 2 Frigibax onto your bench, because a Sableye will very easily come out on this next turn and take the knockouts on those Frigibaxes. They are 60 HP. This is why I think that the deck should be playing the 70 HP ones. Yes, they do have a 2 retreat cost, but you're already playing cross switchers. So I think it's fine to play the 70 HP one, especially if you're also playing Skater's Park. I think the 70 HP one is a little bit more necessary, because a lot of these Lost Box decks don't play the Hawlucha anymore. The Sableye, the Sablezard, as they call it, the Charizard Lost Box version, does generally still play it, but all of the other versions do not. There's none in the Giratina version. There's none in the Dragonite Raikou version. There's none in the Pidgeotto v Medicham, or no, Mawile. It's Mawile Pidgeot V version. So it looks like we are going to go for the double cross switcher off of this Arceus V-Star. Again, I really would have liked to see Rare Candy Baxcalibur so that you can try to get as much energy into play as possible so you can start doing actual knockouts. I'm not sure what the what the double cross switcher really gets you besides just 1 prize card. There is a research as well. We've already used that Iono this turn, so we're not going to really be able to do much with that. And the Irida as well. So gonna bring up the Manaphy, and if you're gonna go for the cross-switcher play, this is definitely what you want to be knocking out, is the Manaphy. You do have to discard both of the water energies in order to do that, and you can search 2 more by using Shivery Chill to thin the deck. And this gets the Manaphy out of play, so that then if you do draw the Greninja, you will be able to knock 2 Pokemon out simultaneously. So not the worst play, definitely still pretty solid, but it's just so scary to see just a lone 60 HP Frigibax on the bench against Lost Box. So it looks like the draw for turn is actually the Drapion. You don't like to see that. That's usually something you want to put in the Lost Zone most of the time. It's really only for Rapid Strike and Mew VMAX. Gonna use our Flower Selecting here. I think you can get rid of the Water Energy because you do play 4. And yeah, it looks like that is the choice. So since Tori's Lost Zoned 1 of each color energy, I think he's going to have to not Lost Zone anymore for the rest of the game. So we're going to switch card into another Comfey, use another Flower Selecting. This will be his second of the turn. We are at, what, 6 cards in the Lost Zone now? Yes, it looks like we do. Also, funny to see that Tori's V-Star marker that he has off to the side there is the Let Loose Giratina from the Diamond and Pearl Platinum era. And it was his GX marker back when GX attacks were a thing. And instead of getting a new sleeve and writing V-Star on it, I kept like bothering him for weeks about getting V-Star written on it if he was going to use it as a V-Star marker instead of having GX on there. And instead of replacing the sleeve and writing V-Star, he just crosses out GX and then writes V-Star on the same sleeve, which is pretty on brand for Tori. We see another mill of Chorus's Experiment here. So we are out of Chorus's Experiments officially. There are none left because we've milled 2 and played 2. God damn it, I forgot the round timer again. How far are we in? 12 minutes. There we go. It's fixed. It's close enough. I apologize, guys. I've re-recorded so many game 1s because I keep forgetting to hit the button for this round timer. I'm gonna get it eventually, and I'm not re-recording this one, okay? I'm not doing it. I'm not re-recording another game 1 for this tournament. So it looks like we do Super Rod back in double Psychic Energies because 1 is in the Lost Zone, so the last 2 were both in the discard pile. We need to Super Rod those back in so that we can get those Sableyes loaded up, and we're going to Mirage Gate to the Comfey so that we can retreat it, and then the Sableye so we can attack with it. And yeah, Nate's like putting his head in his hands because he does not want to see the Sableye at this point in the game. He does not have that Baxcalibur set up yet. And even if he did Rare Candy Baxcalibur on the last turn, and then not get any value out of it, we would have just seen the Sableye just drop 12 damage counters onto it during this turn. And then it's an easy knockout on the next turn. So you'd get maybe 1 turn of value out of it. So it's really rough. It's a really hard choice. So you could say that the cross-switcher Manaphy was correct. You could say it's not, but either way, it's just such a bad position. It's just such a bad matchup. So we do have a Luminion here. We have a Water Energy. We don't have the Greninja yet, so we can't concealed cards. So I don't really know what... Yeah, I think at this point you just scoop and go to the next game, honestly. I don't think that there's anything that you can do. Even if you put 2 Frigibacks, you only have 2 bench spaces open. If you put both Frigibacks down and take a knockout this turn, somehow, Tori still just puts up that other Sableye, attaches an energy to it, and then Lost Mines both the Frigibacks for a knockout. And yeah, I think if you're playing the 60 HP ones, you just fold to Lost Box. But then you just have trouble moving them in all the other matchups, so. I think that they should have printed a 70 HP Frigibacks with 1 retreat cost. So maybe we'll see that in a future set. I really would like to see that. Or maybe one with an ability that says, like, if you have a stadium in play, it has free retreat. I've seen stuff like that before. We are going to put the Luminion in play. That is a big liability against Lost Box because they can knock it out in 2 Lost Mines, as well as knocking out that Manaphy at the same time. That will be an easy 3 prizes for Tori over 2 turns. And we are going to grab the Iono and play it. So Tori is going to get a fresh hand of 5. And since he did Super Rod that Psychic Energy in on that previous turn, he's more likely to draw into it now because of the Iono. So I don't know if Iono was the play here. Maybe going for a different supporter if you really wanted to. But again, you need to take the knockout before you put the next Frigibacks in play. So Tori's going to get a free Lost Mine off because this energy was already attached for turn. He had to discard 2 to knock out that Manaphy on the last turn. See, I don't see any way that Nate can win this game. So it looks like we're going to Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Battle VIP pass, as well as probably one of the superiors. Looks like that's true. We're going to search our deck for any 1 Pokemon, and it's probably going to be the Frigibacks, I would assume. But as soon as that goes down, it just gets knocked out. And then you're down yet another Frigiback. So I think you really do have to just, if you're going to Ultra Ball for it, you have to hold it. Lost Box doesn't generally play any ways to reset your hand, except for sometimes they play a Roxanne. And you're not at 3 prizes yet, so you're not in fear of that. So I'd say maybe hold the Frigibacks, but we're going to bench it. And now you could go 60 to Frigibacks, 1 to the Manaphy, knocks both of them out. And then you put the remaining 5 damage counters on Luminion, leaving it at 120 HP remaining. Or you could just skip knocking out the Manaphy, put the remaining 6 on Luminion, and then on the next turn you could go for that knockout. Because Tori might be trying to play around to the fact that Iono is a thing and leave his hand as large as possible. So I think every turn he's probably just thinking about knocking out a Frigibacks and spreading damage elsewhere. So yeah, knock out the Frigibacks. And then where does the other 6 go? I would say probably Luminion. That's fine on the Chien-Pao as well. That is the attacker after all. So yep, spreading 6 damage counters there. Frigibacks goes down. That's 2 Frigibacks in the discard pile now. So now we can do another Shivery Chill. Getting 2 more energy out of the deck, but again, what do you do if you just don't have a Baxcalibur in play? There's no way you can ever get a Greninja attack off. And I'm thinking at this point that the Greninja may be prized as well, because I would have liked to see that a lot earlier. Maybe have that in play instead of the Luminion or the second Chien-Pao. Would have been a lot better. And then if you could Baxcalibur to that, you could take multiple knockouts, multiple turns, then you Super Rod the Greninja back in after it dies. It lives 1 Lost Mine, so you could potentially just keep using it over and over. And that's the way that Chien-Pao ends up winning. So if you just don't have access to Greninja and can never keep a Frigibacks on your bench, I'd say just scoop and go to the next game. Because you'll never win by just attacking with Chien-Pao. They're going to win that trade very easily. Because you have to discard 2 energies, which means you can only attack every other turn. And every other turn, they're knocking out a 2-prizer of yours because they can spread 240 damage worth of damage counters. So again, there's a Frigibax. And benching that at this point, again, just doesn't seem very good. And we finally see the Heavy Ball getting that Greninja, so it was indeed prized. But here, even if you knock out the Sableye in the active, the second one just gets promoted and knocks out your Frigibax again, puts maybe another, if a 60 on the active Chien-Pao, and then the Chien-Pao is, so that'll put you at 3 prizes remaining, and then you can knock out the Chien-Pao with 10 damage counters, and then 1 on the Manaphy would clean up all of your prize cards. So yeah, the game is already in checkmate. Tori definitely already has the win on board. Well, actually, he needs 1 more Sableye. So if he can, like, Clara back his Sableye or Super Rod it back in, and then get the energy attachment and it back on the bench, like if he Nest Balls and Mirage Gates or something, then that's checkmate. We do have a Mirage Gate. There is the Psychic Energy in deck, I do believe. Do we have a way to recycle our... Like we're thinking about playing the POW Pad. We're going to Flower Selecting first, makes sense. We're going to get rid of the Pokestop. And what did we get here? Tori really thinking hard. Oh, he gets the Clara off of that. Yeah, that's huge. So now you Clara, get back the Sableye, the Psychic Energy, bench the Sableye with the Psychic Energy, POW Pad the Clara back in, and you're again in checkmate. So yeah, this definitely checkmate now. So he was in check before, now he's in checkmate. So yeah, I don't know what else a Chien-Pao deck at all, no matter how well you play it, can do in this situation when you prize Greninja, don't get it late, and never get a Rare Candy Baxcalibur. Like, there's no physical possible way to win. We're just going to retreat into the Sableye, and we're going to use our Lost Mine. Just knocking out that Frigibax yet again, and likely putting the other 60 to the active. And yeah, now we're 1 Lost Mine away from taking the last 3 prize cards. Yep, 120 on the Chien-Pao, so that's 100 damage. 100 HP left. The Manaphy has 10 left. So you have 1 more damage counter than you need by attacking with that Sableye that's on the bench. So yeah, even if somehow this active one went down, but there's no way that this active one could go down because there's no way we can even get 2 energies on a Chien-Pao or 3 energies on a Greninja this turn. Because there's no Baxcalibur. So yeah, I think scooping here early would have been a lot better. Because then you can give yourself times in games 2 and 3 to just try to set up that Greninja play multiple turns in a row. So he benches the Radiant Greninja. You can use concealed cards after this Shivery Chill to just keep drawing, but what are you trying to draw into that will help you win this game? I mean, you still have 4 prize cards. You have to take 4 knockouts on 1 prizers, and your opponent has game on board. But I know Nate himself is definitely looking forward to watching these back to see what he could do better. So I know round 1 just went up as I'm talking about it a few hours ago as of recording. I recorded that one, I posted it, and then I started recording the rest of these because I'm a little tiny bit, I'm like a half a day behind on YouTube uploads. And yeah, it looks like he concedes here because he knows there's no way he can clear both of those Sableyes and that it's just going to come up and knock out the Chien-Pao and the Manaphy. So yeah, very unfortunate game for Nate, but still another 26 minutes. He could always just, Lost Box could always brick, and he could just get Rare Candy Baxcalibur, attack with Greninja, and just win the game. So we'll have to see if that is possible. He has to do that twice. But a top 4 finish, nonetheless, is still pretty good. We saw that really close game that he had in top 8. If you guys have not seen that yet, that was the previous day's upload. Make sure you guys are subscribed, turn on your notification bells and all that if you want to be notified when new videos from me go live. But yeah, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, because that's all important for that YouTube algorithm and for you to be able to see these videos if you want to see more of them. There's also the Twitch channel where I do live stream PTCGL and other games sometimes as well. I'm definitely going to be streaming Spider-Man 2 when that comes out, for sure. I did stream all of Miles Morales, which I think is the last time I actually streamed, like, the full playthrough of a game. And I do have quite a backlog of video games I should really get to at some point, but I am in the process of moving, so maybe afterwards. I think maybe do a couple of Pokemon streams a week, and then maybe just a regular video game stream a week or something. We'll see. I want to really get back into most of it, but I've been at least streaming once a week PTCGL currently. And then, of course, in that description box down below, you have links to all my socials. I always try to post to Discord and Twitter and Facebook whenever I go live. And then, of course, there's the Instagram as well. All that good kind of stuff. That's all linked down below. And we get a double battle VIP. We get the double battle VIP pass start with the Greninja in the active spot. So we're able to get double Frigibax, Manaphy, and Arceus V-Star. So if we are able to, say, Irida and Starbirth next turn, we could see double Rare Candy, double Baxcalibur. Along with maybe a research. It'll depend on what exactly is in hand. So this is pretty much the God setup, all he could ask for this game. So maybe we will be able to see a game 3. Looks like we do have the Irida in hand. So I think next turn, what you do is you... Oh god, well, you don't have the Arceus V-Star yet. Ooh, 3 Water Energy prizes is a little weird. Oh, and the Arceus V-Star? Oh, no, he benched the Arceus before prize checking. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I think you play the Heavy Ball first, and then choose what you get off the Battle VIP Pass, or when you're going in with the Battle VIP Pass, you make sure that the Arceus V-Star is in deck. Otherwise, benching the Arceus V is pretty irrelevant. It doesn't really help you. It just soaks up that bench space. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty big misplay from Nate there. But of course, we could always just get lucky, get the Rare Candy Baxcalibur with a bunch of energies, and then get this Greninja attack off and take the Arceus V-Star off the prize cards, and then you're basically guaranteed to, well, not guaranteed to win, but very, very likely to win at that point. Especially if there is a Manaphy prize from Tori here. So we'll have to see if he does have access to his Manaphy or not. He could always find it with the Heavy Ball if it is, in fact, prized. No, it's in deck. I see it. So he gets a Comfey and a Radiant Greninja with the Battle VIP Pass. And Tori's whole group, there was a car of 5 people that Tori was in. It was him and 4 other people that all came down together from the Albany area. And they're all crowding around this area, and then 2 of Nate's friends as well. And then, of course, myself, because I'm waiting to see when I shut the camera off. And get to go home, because I lost in top 8, and I just want to go home at this point, because it's like 9 o'clock at night right now as of like when that was. Actually, it's 9:30 right now as of recording, which is kind of funny. This is exactly 24 hours ago as of time of recording. But yeah, they're just talking about, like, sports ball. I don't know anything about sports ball. But they're just going on and on about it, and it's all going over my head. So I'm just, like, standing in the corner being like, all right, guys, finish up your game. Pay attention. So we do get Comfey, Radiant Greninja. As always, what you get off of your Battle VIP Pass turn 1, the first one you play is usually for double Comfey or Comfey, Radiant Greninja, depending on what your start is, depending on if you have an energy in hand or not. So we do have an energy. We can go for the concealed cards, getting rid of that water energy to draw 2 cards. Looks like the Sableye and the Pokestop. I think you want to Pokestop last during your turn if you want to do it at all, because you want to make sure you don't mill that Chorus's Experiment. So we are going to go for the Flower Selecting. Looks like Forest Sealstone as well as something else. Looks like Comfey. So we're going to Lost Zone that, keep the Forest Sealstone. I like that, because if you draw even into a Drape... Oh, we already have the Dragonite in hand. Tori playing that nice full art one. And then we see an escape rope here. So what do you put up? I think the Arceus is what you have to put up. You can't put up a Frigibax because then it can just get crammed for the knockout. I mean, maybe you can let one Frigibax go down, but that's only if you can guarantee that you have the Rare Candy Baxcalibur next turn. And even then, I think you still don't want to do that. So it looks like Tori is thinking of benching that Dragonite now, probably to search for a Chorus's Experiment with the Forest Sealstone. So yeah, he's going to flip his V-Star marker. He never even used it in the last game. Didn't need to. I don't think he ever put a Pokemon V down, actually. Like, at all. Didn't need to. But you can always use Dragonite to one-shot a Chien-Pao. So that's always a decent trade. They one-shot each other. So hopefully Dragonite doesn't end up too much of a liability if we see Chien-Pao, double cross switcher, Rare Candy Baxcalibur, a whole bunch of energy next turn, but I don't think Nate has the cards for that in hand. So yeah, gonna grab that Chorus's Experiment, and then we're gonna play it. And we already have the Manaphy in hand as well, so we can go ahead and bench that. Our opponent already has the Radiant Greninja in play, so you might as well. You want to save that one bench space for that. Looks like there is a Drapion in this, so might as well Lost Zone that. You could Lost Zone the Cramorant. I don't think it's super necessary to attack this turn. It would definitely be beneficial, especially since, like, us as the viewers have knowledge that the Arceus V-Star is in the prizes. So you could always just two-shot the Arceus with the Cramorant and take your time building up the Lost Zone. So we're going to bench Cram, we're going to bench Manaphy, and then do we have... Yes, we do have Switch Cart. So I would just... yeah, attach and retreat is fine as well. Save the Switch Cart for a future turn. Yeah, we're just going to retreat and hit in with the Cram. So definitely the correct promotion from the escape rope, putting up the Arceus V, but unfortunately just getting a little bit punished here by that Cramorant. So now what can Nate do? He has double Irida. He doesn't have access to the V-Star. He has a superior energy retrieval, but I don't think there's any water energy in... Yeah, so you just go for the Iono. I don't know, man. I think I would still want to Rare Candy into Baxcalibur. I think I would just play the Irida and Rare Candy Baxcalibur. I don't know, because that still doesn't get you that far either. I think going for the Iono and hoping you draw into it is better. And yeah, still no Rare Candy Baxcalibur. Not too many energies either. No Chien-Pao even. No ways to... Or I think we do have double cross switcher. But yeah, no Chien-Pao to get extra energy out of the deck. Yeah, so this is this is really rough here right now. So there is a version of Chien-Pao that plays like a 1-1 or a 2-2 Palkia V-Star line in it, and even though I think the Arceus V is better, it does personally feel better to be playing the Palkia, because you could always use its V-Star power to just get 3 energies out of the discard pile. You don't even have to play an item. But even if he was playing 1/1 Palkia, I mean, this would just be a Palkia that got hit into. And he'd still have the Palkia V-Star prize, so it doesn't really matter. Also, the Arceus does diversify your weakness as well. Although, I guess the Palkia is lightning weak and the Chien-Pao is metal weak, so... it looks like we are going to go for the double cross-switcher to bring up the Dragonite. It is very heavy. But there is a switch card in hand from Tori. So even though I do think that that's correct to try to stall... Oh, and he even draws another one too. Oh, yeah, he is double switch card in hand. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Yeah, so Nate did what he could to just try to stall. He is down a game, so he cannot scoop this game even if he wants to. I mean, he can. He just, like, forfeits the whole match if he does. But if he wants any chance of winning the match, he definitely just has to go in for that. Looks like we are going to switch cart out, probably into the Comfey. Makes sense. We're going to use that flower selecting. Maybe try to find another Colress's Experiment. Try to get that Lost Zone as packed as possible. But also important to note from Tori here is because his bench is full, he will not be able to use Sableye until one of his Pokemon is knocked out. He does not play Penny in this deck, or Collapse Stadium, so he will not be able to use any of the current means of getting Pokemon off of your bench in order to get that Sableye into play. So I think that's why he was considering whether or not he wanted to like bench the Cram and hit in with it. Because now he's locked into just attacking with the Cram. So we are going to just retreat again into the Cramorant and just hit for a good solid 110. Does not knock out the Radiant Greninja, but we might be able to see it get knocked out later from something else, like a Sableye. We'll have to see. So we do top deck to Chien-Pao here. It would have been nice to have that last turn so we could have switched it active and then use Shivery Chill, but, you know, what are you going to do? We're going to use Radiant Greninja while we still have it. Draw into Rare Candy, but no Baxcalibur. Oh, no, we do have the Baxcalibur. So here it comes. Rare Candy, Baxcalibur. And now you could research and try to find another one. Then you try to find Double Cross Switcher, Skaters Park, canceling Cologne as well? That seems like a lot. There is only about maybe 13-ish minutes, 12, 13 minutes left in the game. So it looks like we are going to go for the research. Definitely what you have to be doing here. You just have to, you know, deep draw as hard as you can, try to find another Rare Candy Baxcalibur, and then maybe some other pieces, and still no other Rare Candy Baxcalibur. He has the Ultra Balls, but he doesn't have the Rare Candy. He does get the Skaters Park, though, so he could always just retreat the Greninja into the Chien-Pao, use its ability, and then take the knockout on the Cramorant. Wouldn't be the worst case scenario. Tori is only at 5 cards in the Lost Zone, but we could see one Colress's Experiment get him to 7 in order for him to be able to charge up the Dragonite and just hit into that Chien-Pao. And then it's going to be really hard to find a response for that, but it would be preferred to find the Sableye. You can knock out the Frigibax that's on the bench and put the other 6 onto the Baxcalibur. So we are going to go for the Skaters Park. We are going to retreat the Greninja, which puts the energy back into hand instead of the discard because of the Skaters Park. And now we can use Chien-Pao's ability, Shivery Chill, to search for 2 energies. And we've already used our concealed cards, so we won't be able to get rid of one of those energies to draw any more cards. But we still have enough energies for the knockout here. That should be at 110. It looks like the dice got knocked off of that Radiant Greninja there. And hopefully we are able to pull the Arceus V-Star off the prizes, because it would be really clutch to be able to use Starbirth. And it also adds HP to the Arceus V-Star, so it doesn't just die to a Cramorant on a future turn. Or a Sableye, even. So just attaching 2 energy for now. And we're going to take the knockout. I think you could have attached the other energy if you wanted to maybe the benched Greninja. But I think it's fine just holding it, actually. No, it's definitely right to hold it here, because the Baxcalibur isn't going to go down unless Tori gets exactly Mirage Gate, attach for turn, Boss's Orders, and Boss's Orders is already in the Lost Zone. And there would have to be 2 more cards in the Lost Zone as well. So he'd have to use double Flower Selecting, Mirage Gate, attach for turn, Boss, in order to get rid of the Baxcalibur. I just realized his name is Baxcalibur, and it's because Baxcalibur, because it's cold. I love puns. Pokemon names are all puns. I love it. So we did take the knockout on the Cramorant. We do get to take the first prize card of the game. Tori has been able to attack twice, but not be able to take any prize cards just yet. And we do see the Sableye is going to come down onto the bench off of this Nest Ball. We just need a Psychic Energy and then 10 cards in the Lost Zone. So are we going to be able to get there this turn? We do have 6 cards in the Lost Zone now, so we only need 4 more. 2 of them are going to come off this Chorus's Experiment, and then you could always just use a Lost Vacuum on your own for a Seal Stone, and that gets you to 10. We do have a Mirage Gate in hand as well. That could get you the energy that you need for the Sableye. I think what you could also do is you could knock out the Frigibax and the Greninja, and then put the rest on the Baxcalibur. Let's see, that would be 8, 4. Yeah, and then that'll leave the Baxcalibur at exactly 120 HP remaining, so that your next Sableye will be able to knock it out. And you also remove the potential threat of the Greninja, forcing your opponent to find a Super Rod and a way to get that Greninja back into play. So here is the Mirage Gate. We're going to probably put a Psychic onto the Sableye, as well as maybe a Water Energy to Dragonite wouldn't be too bad, or we could just put maybe the Lightning Energy or Lightning Energy to the Comfey, or Water Energy to retreat it. But no, it looks like we are going to go for the Water Energy on the Dragonite. I do like that. 1 more Mirage Gate will be enough to power it up, especially if you have access to a Super Rod, because I know that there are at least some energies in the discard pile. I think at least 1 Water Energy, because he did open with 2 in hand. So yeah, I think 2 Water Energies are in the discard pile. We are going to see the replacement of the stadium with the Pokestop, and we are going to go and use it, probably looking for some sort of switch card. But nope, just finding a Battle VIP Pass and the Pokegear, or sorry, the POW Pad. The POW Pad will be able to put a couple Boss's Orders back into the deck potentially. And it looks like we're also putting some energies to the front of the discard, which means we do have a Super Rod. So did we have the Lost Vacuum in hand? Because if we have the Lost Vacuum, we definitely go for the Sableye attack this turn, I would assume. Or we try to get our value out of the Dragonite while it's in play and just attack with it this turn. Yeah, I think that is better, actually. It does risk the fact that your opponent can just get a second Baxcalibur into play, but you could just play it as a 2-prize exchange match. Gonna shuffle back in double Chorus. That way, Tori can find whatever cards he needs, the turns he needs them, hopefully. About maybe 6 minutes left on the clock, approximately. I know my timer is not exactly on the ball. And we are going to get rid of our own stadium. Yeah, so our opponent can't use it. Yeah, that's more correct than getting rid of the Forest Seal Stone for sure. And we are going to switch into the Dragonite and be able to take the knockout here. So yeah, I do like this. Since the Baxcalibur is in play and you cannot remove it exactly this turn, Just put the Dragonite active, let it get knocked out, and then you can play around with the Sableye later. So we see the promotion of the Greninja, and we're hoping that, at least Tori's hoping that Nate does not get another rare candy Baxcalibur. So if he can draw into the rare candy off of this, canceling Cologne, cross switcher. Oh, but no. Oh. So if he didn't bench the Chien-Pao before the Greninja ability, I think what he could have done was cross switcher up the Manaphy, canceling Cologne, and then use the Greninja's attack to knock out the Sableye as well as the Manaphy. And then, yeah, I think that would definitely have been the play. You go down to 3 prize cards remaining. Yes, the Dragonite is still a factor, but now Tori would have to boss up the Chien-Pao in order to, he would have to boss up a Pokemon in order to take that knockout, but he already has 1 boss in the Lost Zone. Usually Lost Box decks only play 1. But we are going to go for the knockout on the Dragonite. Yeah, I think it would have been more correct maybe to go for the... Yeah, because you could have Luminioned to grab Irida, to grab the, like, a Baxcalibur and the other cross switcher. Use double cross switcher to bring up the Manaphy, canceling Cologne it. You might still be able to do it next turn, though. I guess it is very relevant on whether or not your opponent does play a second boss or not. But I would have hoped that maybe by the end of game 1, you've identified all the cards that are in Tori's deck and know whether or not he has the second boss. So Tori's deciding what to promote here. We do go down to 3 prize cards remaining. Oh, and it looks like he shakes his head. I think he still hasn't found the Arceus V-Star off his prizes. It was low in his prize cards before, I'm pretty sure. But that Heavy Ball must have shuffled it up higher. Yeah, he still doesn't have it. He has a Rare Candy and the Ultra Ball, so he can get a second Baxcalibur into play. But this Sableye might just be able to get the Frigibax down now. Yeah, so I think what you do if you're Tori is you knock out the Greninja and the Frigibax. And then put the rest on the Baxcalibur. It would be nice if there was 1 on the Manaphy from earlier, but we haven't actually been able to attack with Sableye yet. Because if there was 1 on the Manaphy, you could go knock out Manaphy, knock out Frigibax. And then attack with your own Greninja on the next turn, potentially. Although, I guess if you do that, it's not worth it at all. Because the 90 isn't super relevant for the high HP on all the remaining Pokemon in play. Because the 90 will leave the Arceus with 20. And 90 on the Greninja is overkill. So, yeah. So, but Tori might still be trying to play around the possibility of Iono. And he might be trying to take multiple prizes at a time. So he's going to switch cart, healing that damage off, and we're going to go into the Sableye. We're finally at 10 plus cards in the Lost Zone. So we're going to see a Lost Mine. And what do we do if we're Tori here? Do we just go all in on the 2 prizers? Because you could always knock out the Chien-Pao and then the Arceus in order to win the game. So you could spread damage between the 2 of them. Leave yourself at the 4 cards. The 4 prize cards. And then just knock out the Chien-Pao and the Arceus simultaneously. You could always just knock out the Frigibax and then spread damage between the Arceus and the... No, you could Yeah, you could do like 6 to Manaphy, 6 to Arceus, and then on the next turn, knock them all out. All 3 of them, and take 4 prizes. So that's probably better than going after the Chien-Pao. So yeah, it looks like we are going to... Oh, we're knocking out the Arceus for 2 prizes, and then putting the remaining on the Manaphy. And yes, so we do have the last 2 prize cards lined up. We do have another Sableye in play. Tori not really fearing the Iono, because even if he gets Iono'd to 2 cards, he probably knows he'll be able to find the Psychic Energy that he needs. Maybe the cards that he needs are actually in deck, and an Iono will actually help him get there. So we will have to see. So yeah, even having access to the Baxcalibur for this entire game has not really helped Nate too much here. It just shows what a poor matchup this is. Because you could always go Dragonite mode and just hit hard. Spread damage around with Sableye, play around the Iono. And yeah, he does have the Iono in hand. He could just go for it here. Yeah, and even if he's able to go double cross-switcher canceling Cologne on the Manaphy... Oh, this is what he does here. So he goes double cross-switcher, bring up the Manaphy, canceling Cologne it, and then Greninja knock out both Sableye and Iono. He can do it. I think he has the pieces in his hand. Does he have both cross-switchers? He's got at least one in the canceling Cologne. Yeah, he might not have the second cross switcher. So he might not be able to Iono this turn. I still think that that's the best play you have available to you. Knocking out both of the Sableye at once. Yeah, and it looks like he's not going for it. Yeah, he could Irida to get the other cross switcher. Bring up the Manaphy, canceling Cologne it, knock out both Sableye. Bringing up that Greninja. Attacking with that instead. Oh, is he 1 energy card short of being able to do that? Maybe that's why he's not going for it. Yeah, that's rough. Did he use Shivery Chill yet this turn? I would imagine he had to have. Yeah, if he just had one more cross switcher or the superior energy retrieval in hand, he could have had that play. That's so unfortunate. It's just such a rough thing. He definitely has all of those cards in the deck. I mean, do you Iono and hope to just redraw into all of that? Does he even play double canceling Cologne? Because you could always Iono and just hope to get there. You can canceling Cologne because it stops the ability of whatever Pokemon is in the active. Like, it blocks the active spot's abilities. It doesn't block the ability of the current active Pokemon, right? I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up. Until the end of your turn, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities. This includes Pokemon that came into play during that turn. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. But he is going to go for the knockout on the Sableye in the active spot. And we will have to see if Tori has the Psychic Energy in order to be able to pull off the game. Yes, according to the rulings compendium, The effect of Cancel and Clone is on the opponent's active Pokemon position rather than on the Pokemon itself. So he could have gone Cancel and Clone on the active position and then Iono to try to find Double Cross Switcher, Superior Energy Retrieval, and then knock out both of the Sableye. But unfortunately, probably didn't know that ruling. And also, Tori could have just had it anyway. He could have just found a way to recycle the Sableye. But looks like Tori was able to close that out. So as always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you guys next time. There is no finals game. It was Tori versus Dom, who we saw in the first round. And since they came together, Tori already had a first place. He just gave it to Dom so that Dom could get the mat. Because Tori already has the Gyarados mat for this season. So, yeah. So, Tori getting second place. So, he's got 90 points just off of cups this season. And I've got 119 off of almost entirely challenges. So, definitely shows you how important cups are. And regionals even more so. And internationals even more so than that. So if I do decide to go for my invite, I'm really thinking about going to EUIC or LAIC. I'm not really sure. It depends on if I want to get shot or if I want to spend more money. So we'll see you guys next time for another tournament.